Hello and welcome. I'm Debbie, and this slow flow practice is about 20-25 minutes long, and it's inspired by the movements of the butterfly. I love the word butterfly, both in English and in Spanish. In Spanish, it's la mariposa. How beautiful is that? And as we move throughout our little flow this morning, just think of the beautiful movements of the butterfly in your mind's eye. So as we begin, come to a seated pose, and I typically enjoy sitting on a folded blanket. You can use a beach towel or a bath towel or a flatter cushion rather than a round one. We come to a seated position. The most important thing about your seated position is that the spine is long and that the crown is reaching. So it involves lifting through the front side body, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears. Nice. We bring our hands together in prayer position in front of our heart. We close our eyes and we begin focusing on our breath. Let's use Ujjayi breath, which is breathing in and out slowly and deliberately through the nose. Inhaling, exhaling. At your own pace, inhale, exhale. As you breathe, notice how the sound of your own breath almost sounds like that of the leaves rustling through the trees in a gentle wind. Keep the crown of the head lifted, the spine long, the front side body long. A few more breaths here. Good. Open the eyes, and I'm going to read you just a couple of quotations about the butterfly to solidify our inspiration for this flow. From Malia Kirk, we hear, "Butterflies are like angels' kisses sent from heaven." And Diana Cooper tells us, "If you smile when you see a butterfly, you'll have happiness in your soul." Very nice. To get started, we're going to move our arms as if we're just flexing our wings like a butterfly newly hatched from its cocoon. And we're going to inhale, reach up, and exhale, float down. And so we begin. Inhale, the arms float up. Exhale, they press down. Inhaling, reaching up. Exhale, floating down. Keeping your chest lifted, the crown of the head reaching, moving at your own breath's pace. Spreading your wings, exulting in the weather, in the breeze, in the sunlight, in the moonlight, however you imagine it. And after this next one, we'll come to stillness. Inhaling, we reach up. And exhaling, we press down. We'll transition to some twists. Make sure the spine is long, the front side body is lifted. It will seem as if I'm going opposite you. That's because of the fact that I'm facing you. And so we inhale, grow long, and exhale, twisting to your left. The left fingertips touch down behind you. Your right hand rests on either knee. The breastbone shifts to the left. Your gaze shifts left. And with that spine still long, enjoy a few breaths here. Inhaling, exhaling. Breathing through the nose, feeling the inhale support you in growing tall, and the exhale helping you settle into stability. One more round of breath. Nice. And now inhale, and with your exhale, come back to center. Let's go the other direction. So, right fingertips will touch down on the mat behind us. We twist our torso to the right. Our left hand can come down on either knee. The breastbone shifts to the right. The gaze shifts to the right. Melt the shoulders away from the ears and breathe. See if you can imagine yourself growing taller with every inhale and feeling rooted and stable with every exhale. Very nice. Keep going. And one more inhale. We reach high and tall. And with our exhale, we return to center. Beautiful. Now we're going to shift to the side, and we are going to unfold our blanket so that it's the width of the mat to protect our knees a bit. So blanket or towel, whatever you're using. Have your blocks handy. We'll need them shortly, and I use these pommels. I use them because I have arthritis in my wrists and hands, and I can't put my hands flat on the mat. If you are putting your hands flat on the mat, spread those fingers wide. Press into the very tips of the fingers. Also press into the base of each finger and the heel of the hand, so the weight is not all being absorbed by the wrist. And let's come on to our hands and knees in tabletop pose. Positioning your wrists directly underneath your shoulders. The spine is long, the crown of the head is reaching out in front of you, your toes are facing back, and we're going to move through cat and dog tilt. With the inhale, lengthen through the front side body, release the belly, lift the gaze a little bit, and with your exhale, contract through the belly, releasing through the back and dropping the head. So we inhale, lengthening the front side body, and we exhale, releasing through the back side body. Inhaling and exhaling. On your next inhale, come to a neutral position. The spine is parallel to your mat. The crown of the head is reaching. And now we're going to shift our hips back to come into child pose. Some people love this pose. Other people find it less comfortable. Some people like to draw their toes together. Some people like to tuck their toes. Some people have tight knees, tight thighs, and they prefer placing a block or a pillow behind them. All right, if you're more comfortable that way, go right ahead. Otherwise, you're shifting your hips toward your heels, and you are releasing your hands and your forearms to the mat. And if you're comfortable here, give yourself a little time to snuggle into the shape. You can walk your fingertips out in front of you and release your head. Press the tips of your fingers into the mat just a wee bit and see if you can feel the hips releasing a little bit farther toward the heels. Continuing your breathing, enjoying this child pose. And on your next inhale, walking the hands toward your face, coming back up into your tabletop pose. Find that neutral spine, imagining that the spine is parallel to the mat. reaching with the crown toward the front and with the toes toward the back. Let's return to our cat and dog tilts. A lot of people talk about the energy from this motion coming from the back. I'd like you to imagine the impetus coming from the front, where you're contracting the belly to release the head down, and you're expanding and lengthening and releasing the belly to lift the gaze. And when you're ready, coming to stillness again, the crown of the head is reaching. And now we're going to extend that right leg out behind us. Start by tucking the toes. Make sure that your wrists are underneath the shoulders. Stay right here, or if you're comfortable, float that leg up. Making sure that you're not twisting that right hip up. This is an elevation of the leg, not an elevation of the hip. Reaching with the crown toward the front of the mat, reaching with the toes, the balls of the foot toward the back, continuing to breathe, feeling the strength throughout your body on this. And then with your next exhale, tuck the toes, touching down with the toes, releasing gently with the knee. Very nice. Moving through a couple of cat and dog tilts. Let the rhythm of your own breath prescribe the pace of your movements. And when you're ready, come to stillness once again. Neutral spine, crown of the head reaching. We're going to extend our left leg back, tucking those left toes under, and making sure that you're not lifting the left hip. The hips are remaining parallel to the mat. If you would like, you can float that left leg up so that the left toes, the ball of the left foot is reaching toward the back. The crown of your head is still reaching front. You're feeling steady and stable. With every inhale, feel yourself growing taller, reaching longer. And with every exhale, notice how your body is rooting down and feeling stable. Very nice. And with your next exhale, releasing down, touching down with the toes first, always with control. Then releasing that knee. Beautiful. Just another cat and dog tilt. To release through the spine. And when you come to stillness, send the hips back toward your heels again, and we'll return once more to child pose. You can stay on your forearms, remember, or you could walk your fingertips out in front of you, pressing a bit into the fingertips, releasing the hips in the direction of your heels, breathing here. Nice. And when you're ready, you walk your fingertips toward your face, and we're getting ready now to transition to a standing pose. So make sure you have your blocks somewhere within reach near the front of your mat, and we'll transition to standing. All right, we're going to come to standing, moving through downward facing dog. If you are uncomfortable doing downward facing dog, then come to standing however you would like. All right, so here we are back in our tabletop position. Neutral spine, crown of the head reaching. Let's tuck our toes. And as we tuck our toes, making sure that our wrists are directly under our shoulders, just practice feeling the weight as you lift your knees from the mat. As long as you're feeling comfortable with your knees lifted off the mat, go ahead and walk the hands out so that your wrists are slightly forward of your shoulders. tuck your toes, gripping the mat with your toes, lifting your hips, lengthening your knees, pushing back with your hands and your arms. Remember, your fingertips are spread wide. You can keep the knees bent and the spine long, or if your hamstrings and calves invite it, you can lengthen those legs. If your hands are on the mat, the fingertips are spread and you're pressing the fingertips, the base of every finger, and the heel of your hand into the mat. You're forming the shape of an inverted triangle. Actually, this is a triangle. It's not inverted at all. And now moving very carefully, because we have this blanket in front of us, walking the feet forward, keeping the knees bent until you're clear of your blanket. We'll get that out of the way in a moment, and release the head. Very nice. Keeping the knees soft, the knees bent. Bring your hands to the thighs and come up to a nice long spine with the crown reaching forward. Very nice. If your blocks are not already right in front of you, get them there now. I'm using my pommels. And now exhale, release down just a little bit. Keep the knees soft so that you don't injure your lower back. And now inhale, bringing the hands to the thighs again, long spine, and we're going to prepare to rise up. And if you are not sure whether you'll get dizzy or not, please move very slowly until you're confident. And then inhale, soften the knees, the legs lift you tall, reaching tall, the arms float overhead, reaching like the wings of a butterfly, and exhaling, bringing the hands together in prayer position at heart center. Beautiful. And now, before any of us trips, let's remove our blanket and put it where we can find it later, and we'll come to the front of our mat. Remember, you want your blocks in front of you. The feet are approximately hips distance apart, toes facing forward and parallel, and we're going to move through a few half sun salutations. All right, if you need to slow it down, you slow it down. So let's inhale, we reach up, and exhale, we hinge at the hips, folding forward, softening our knees, and our hands reach for our blocks. We release our heads, keep those knees slightly bent. And now inhale, bringing the hands to the thighs, long spine, crown reaching. Exhale, releasing again. If you're worried about getting lightheaded, just come up slowly rather than releasing and folding again. And inhaling, soften the knees, hands to the thighs. This time we're coming all the way up. We allow our breath and the inhale to reach the arms overhead. Hands come to prayer position, settling in front of our heart center. Beautiful. Mountain pose, and we are moving through a few half sun salutations. Again, inhale, reach up. Exhale, folding forward. We're hinging at the hips rather than rounding the back. Coming for your blocks, release the head. Inhale, coming up halfway. Hands to the thighs, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, releasing down again. The legs can lengthen if your hamstrings permit. And on your next inhale, hands to the thighs again. Make sure that we're grounded and rooted. And we continue reaching the arms overhead like the wings of the butterfly. Exhaling, hands in prayer position, bringing ourselves to heart center. And one more time. Inhale, reaching up. Exhaling, hinging at the hips. Inhaling, hands to the thighs, we come up halfway. Exhale, releasing. Inhaling, moving through. Flat back, hands to the thighs. The arms reach overhead, reach for the sun. And exhaling, hands come to heart center. Very nice. And now let's bring our hands to our hips. And let's step back with our right foot. We're going to just practice a couple of lunges. The most important thing is stability. Stability has to happen before we move with mobility. All right? So feet are approximately hips distance apart. We can bring our hands to our hips and we're going to step back with our left foot. You're going to find your sweet spot. So that right knee is going to bend, but we don't want it to extend past the ankle. That can risk that we lose our balance. It can also risk that we injure our knee. So find your sweet spot. How far apart should the front foot be from the back foot? Make sure that your front knee is facing the same direction as your toes, not extending beyond your ankle. You're up on the ball of your back foot. You can bend that back knee if it offers you a little bit more stability. Stability is our goal. You can lengthen the back leg if those hamstrings and thighs permit it. Lifting through the front side body, easing the right hip back, and inhale. You can leave the hands on the hip. You can bring your hands to heart center, or you can float your wings like those of the butterfly overhead. Breathing here. Notice how your body is working to maintain balance, to maintain stability, and you can feel the strength in the legs and the lift of your heart center. And exhaling, bringing those hands back down. You can bring the hands to the hips, and now you can take small steps forward with that left foot until you're at the front of the mat. Once again, mountain pose, feet approximately hip distance apart, parallel, toes facing front, lift the heart. Let's walk through another sun salutation, half sun salutation. Inhale, the wings float overhead. Exhale, we hinge at the hips, soften the knees, coming into a forward fold. Your block should be there waiting for you. Inhaling, hands to the thighs, coming up with a long spine. Exhaling, releasing. Inhaling, moving through that same shape again on your way up, softening the knees, then growing tall as your wings reach to the sun, and exhaling, bringing your hands back to heart center. Now let's do the other side. We'll do a lunge and we'll step back with our right foot. So the hands are on the hips. We're going to step the right leg back. You've got to find your sweet spot. So in lunges, our feet are facing straight ahead. They're parallel to the sides of our mat. We're bending our front knee, making sure that the knee does not extend any further than the ankle, and we're up on the ball of the back foot. All right? And ease that left hip back. Make sure that your knee is pointing the same direction as your toes. Make sure that you found a nice, steady ground on which to stand, lifting through the front side body. You can keep your hands on your hips, bring your hands to the heart, or on your inhale, float your arms overhead, reaching to the sun like the wings of a butterfly. Breathing here. Noticing how your body works, noticing how the strength is there in your back leg, really supporting you. One more inhale and exhale, bringing those hands back to the hips. Very nice. And now you can take small steps as you bring that right foot forward so that it's parallel with the left foot. And here we are, back in mountain pose at the front of our mat. And let's build our mountain pose very intentionally, all right? Feet hip distance apart, parallel, toes facing forward. Imagine the kneecaps lifting so that you're feeling active engagement through the thighs. The belly button lifts and snuggles itself in toward the spine. The shoulders roll back and down. The heart lifts and the gaze is steady straight ahead of you. This is mountain pose. You're strong, you're stable, you're centered. Very nice. And we're going to be moving through a half sun salutation, but we're going to come back down to the mat. All right? So we inhale and our wings spread wide and reach to the heavens. Exhale, hinging forward at the hips, softening the knees. The hands come to the blocks. Very nice. Inhaling, hands to the thighs. We come up halfway. Exhaling, bring our hands back down to the blocks or the mat, and we're going to just step one foot back and come onto our knees with control. Step the other foot back, coming back into our tabletop pose. And I know we don't have our blanket under our knees. We won't be here for very long. Simply inhale to lengthen the spine. Feel the crown of the head reaching to the front, the toes reaching to the backs. And now come down onto one hip until you're back in a seated position. Great. We'll do our closing poses. Let's get situated on our folded blanket. We come back to a seated position and have your blocks within reach once again. This time, we're going to extend our legs long and then draw them in, bringing the soles of the feet toward one another. All right? Not everyone is equally flexible. It's not possible to be equally flexible, but you're going to see how far you're able to go, drawing the soles of your feet toward you and letting the knees fall open like the wings of a butterfly. You may be more comfortable placing the blocks underneath your knees for just a moment. You can place them at the tall setting, the medium setting, and if you are flexible enough to send them at the low setting, you probably don't need the blocks at all. Just give yourself a moment to sit in this position and work on reaching through the front side body to grow tall. So it's more important that we're able to sit up straight and tall than it is that we have the flexibility in the hips to open our knees wide. So you're sitting nice and tall, and work on that instead of worrying about your knees and how high up they are. All right, so lengthen through the belly, lift the heart center, roll the shoulders up, back and down. Nice. And then when and only when you're sitting nice and tall, adjusting yourself until you can sustain that position, you can remove the blocks. You can bring your hands to the calves or the ankles or the big toes, and now just gently draw the knees toward one another and release them to the sides. We can butterfly our legs, so our legs are fluttering like the wings of the butterfly. But most important, you're sustaining a lifted torso, tall spine, crown of the head reaching. Very nice. Very good. want to experiment with pulling your feet in close to you and continuing the exercise, or extending the legs out farther in front of you and seeing what the exercise, what the movement feels like there. Very nice. Coming to stillness for a moment, coming back into your seated position. And while you close your eyes and listen to your breath, I'm going to read you a couple of more inspirational quotes. Once again, quotes carried on the wings of a butterfly. So, sitting up nice and tall, lifting through the front side body, releasing the shoulders away from the ears, close the eyes, bring the hands together at heart center. A quote from Rabindranath Tagore: "The butterfly counts not months, but moments, and yet still has time enough." Isn't that powerful? I'll read it again. The butterfly counts not months, but moments, and yet still has time enough. And Janet Dixon tells us, the wings of transformation are born of patience and struggle. With the eyes still closed and hands in prayer position, we'll close our little practice today by saying Namaste. Namaste means the spirit in me salutes the spirit in you. And so I bow to you and thank you for practicing with me today. Namaste. Have a lovely day, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. Take care.